Hello guys, Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to our dot programming language course. I hope you all are fine. Our previous tutorial was about arrow function. Now in today's tutorial we are going to discuss scope in dot. The scope is a concept that refers to where values can be accessed or referenced. Dot uses curly braces to determine the scope of variables. If you define a variable inside curly braces, you cannot use it outside the curly braces. Basically, there are three types of scope: method scope, global scope, and lexical scope. Now, first of all, we will see method scope, method or function scope, right? Let me open VS Code and show you practically. Now, let me create a function here. Void my function. And here inside let me declare a string variable, name it as name, and a value here, right? Now if I want to access this variable inside main function, let me print name here, right? You can see it is showing error, right? Because this variable has a scope only inside this function, right? We cannot access it outside this function. If I run this program, it will show error, right? This variable has a scope only inside this function, right? We cannot access it outside this function. For example, here I have another function, my function 2, and here if I want to access name, print name, it will show error, right? I hope you understand method scope. We can say it method or function scope, right? I hope you understand. Now let me discuss global scope. So let me declare a variable outside our all the functions here. String name here. Let me assign a name and let me remove this variable here. Now you can see we can access this variable in everywhere, right? It is not showing any error. Let me test it. If I run the program, you can see it is working, right? And let me call my function 2 here. It will also print the name. Here you can see it is working. I can also write here print name. We can access our name variable in every function. Here let me call this function here. Now test it again. Here you can see it is working. So this is the use of global variable. This is global scope. Global means we can access it in every function. The global means we can access this variable in all the functions, right? And we can create another variable. For example, int age, we can assign 23. We can also print it here. We can print here age. Let me test it. Here you can see it is working. So this is global scope. I hope you understand. Now at the end, let me discuss lexical scope. Now let me show you lexical scope. Here for example, I have a for loop for int I is equal to 1, I less than or equal to 10, and I plus plus. And here inside curly braces, let me print I, right? If I test it, you can see it is working. Now for example, I want to access this variable I, right? Outside this for loop. Here print I. You can see it is showing error. We cannot access it outside our for loop, right? So this is lexical scope. The lexical scope means the variable inside any block cannot be accessed outside the block, right? Because this is inside the for loop. That is why we cannot access it outside the for loop. If I run this program, you will see the error, right? We cannot access I outside our for loop. Now let me show you another example. For example, I have a if statement, if and true, and inside this if, let me declare a variable string name and give a value like this inside block. And if I want to access this name outside my if block, here let me test it, name. You can see it is showing error, right? Because we cannot access this variable outside this block, right? So this is called lexical scope. It means the variable defined inside any block cannot be accessed outside that block, right? I hope you understand what is method or function scope, global scope and lexical scope. If you have any question in your mind, you can ask in comment box, or if you have any suggestion regarding our channel or this course, you can also type in comment box. Okay, good luck.